You are today. It is healing, it is snowing. We are in the depths of winter here in Letterkenny. So, welcome everyone. My name is Mary. This is my husband Seamus, and we want to talk to you tonight about introverts, a topic that is very dear to our heart, and a topic which I believe is greatly misunderstood by the majority of people out there. And we're going to talk
And we
all
get
about
so many,
anti-socialism.
we get so many people reaching out to us. Am I an introvert? How do I know if I'm an introvert? Am I an extrovert? So we want to get some misconceptions because a lot of people think introverts are very antisocial. But I want to kind of explain to you first off, like the difference kind of between an introvert and an extrovert. You've got to think if people are thinking, I don't know whether I'm an introvert, or an extrovert. You've got to think of it like this: an introvert gets up in the morning and their battery is fully charged. And every time they go out and they have social interactions with people, that battery gets depleted. So when you're at social events, when you're at the office, when you're meeting people, your battery is getting depleted and depleted and depleted and depleted. And it's normally why at like parties and stuff like that, you'll normally see the introverts are the ones that sneak off before the party's over because their battery has just got depleted.
Whereas the extroverts are, where's the after party? They can't wait.
So they wake up in the morning. So an extrovert will wake up in the morning and their battery is depleted. But every social interaction, when they're partying, when they're meeting people, their battery is getting charged. And that's why, as Mary says, when they go to parties, they're normally the last ones to leave because their battery, every time they're surrounded by people, every time they're talking to people, their battery is getting charged and charged and charged. As with the opposite, an introvert, their battery is just getting depleted and depleted and depleted. And that's one thing we find is like when we go to like large conferences and we have a large team, so we spend a lot of time like talking to people after the conferences, like our batteries are depleted. I've got to lie in like a
quiet room
and I'll look at a wall and just recharge my battery for a few hours.
But what's so important, and I think that I find this really interesting. So we did a survey inside one of our Facebook groups. And we asked people to let us know which personality type that they feel they were. Were they more introverted or extroverted? And what's crazy is the majority of the people are actually introverted like ourselves. But I used to think growing up that I was a little bit strange, I was a little bit odd, and I was always trying to fit in for that very reason. Because as an introvert, I was always being told that I was quiet, that I was shy. So I was trying to overcompensate for that. And I wasn't allowing myself to be who I wanted to be. And I know that for a lot of people, they feel the same. So whenever people think that introverts are antisocial, it's not that we're antisocial. It's you put us in the right situation and we will show up. So for example, when we have work events, they normally run from a Thursday till maybe a Monday. And we will show up, we will give it our best, but there are little nuggets throughout the day where we need to just take ourselves away and take 5 or 10 minutes just to breathe, just to kind of refocus. And it's not being weird, it's not being strange. It's just that, as Seamus said, your battery is wearing out and everybody needs to recharge their batteries. If you have a battery, it is inevitable that it's going to wear out. But different things charge our batteries. So for extroverted people, when they're in this situation where they've got so many people around them, they are high on life and they are absolutely loving it. They don't want to be on their own at all. They're asking, do we even need to go home and get ready? Who's going to come with us when we go and get ready? Whereas the introvert in us loves to actually, when there's a gap between like when the conference ends and the party, to go away on our own, to have just a couple of hours just to sit in quiet, in peace, and recharge ready for the evening.
And the thing is, if people, especially if maybe you're an extrovert, you're thinking, do you know anybody introverts I know, they're really antisocial, they're really quiet. But a great way to get to know them is because as introverts, we hate chit chat. Like we hate sort of like talking about the weather, sort of chit chat, trying to fill conversations, gaps in the conversation. It tires us out. But we could sit down and have meaningful conversations about topics that we love all day, every day. And that's a great tip if you are spending a lot of times, maybe people you work with, maybe your partner, your kids, maybe they are introvert, maybe you're extrovert, and you're thinking, I don't know how to connect with them. Have meaningful conversations about topics that they're interested in or you're interested in, because the chit chat can definitely drain their battery. And that's why some people think introverts are a little bit antisocial, because they're not always being like the center of
Life and soul
influence
of the
and life and
party.
soul of the party.
And in relationships, I think it can cause a little bit of conflict, because if one person in the relationship is an introvert and the other person is an extrovert, if you don't understand this, it could cause a wedge in your relationship. Because, say, for example, if Seamus was really extroverted and I was introverted, but my job was, I was in an office environment all day. So all day I'm meeting people and my battery is being drained. But Seamus is perhaps at home and
And I'm
he's
an
in and
extrovert, and
he's
I'm
in
like, I need somebody to talk to. I need somebody to talk to. I'm going off my head.
and I come home from work and Seamus is like, where are we going tonight? I want to go out for dinner. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I'm like, I just want to relax in front of the TV. I want to read a book. I just want to have dinner, the two of us. And Seamus is like, but I want to go meet people. Like, I'm at home all day. If he doesn't understand me and I don't understand him, all of a sudden we think we're not a good fit for each other.
So Mary's maybe thinking I'm selfish because I won't allow her to sit and recharge her batteries. And I'm thinking to Mary, Mary, you're selfish. I've been at home. I
All
need to
day.
get out and get some social interaction. I need to charge my battery.
So understanding this will make everything so much better, and even with your kids. In school, most people who are introverts will not be the first person to put up their hand, to answer a question, to volunteer for something. They'll sit quite comfortably listening, paying attention. And but if the teacher may say that you're very quiet, you don't really participate in class, but my response to that would be, well, have you asked him or her a question? Because I would bet my life that if you spent the time to actually ask the introvert a question in the classroom, they will respond to you. They're just not the loudest person in the room, which means that we can go under the radar. So we would find that we don't normally get picked for things. We don't normally be the most popular, because he who shouts the loudest is heard the most. And that's what's, in my opinion, why we think that we're not enough as introverts, why we're always trying to become more, to feel that we're not able to, be incredible leaders. I used to think that I couldn't be a businesswoman. I'm too shy. I don't know enough people. But we all have our own superpowers. And when you realize what it is that is your uniqueness, and when you learn how to release that, that's when things start to change.
And especially if you're an introvert and you do work in like large groups and you're surrounded by a lot of people, like what for us, when we go to maybe events, it's having that like 10-minute, 15-minute break just to yourself. Because maybe if you're talking to people all the time, maybe if you're in like board meetings in an office, it's just having that 10, 15 minutes just to sit down to yourself and just recharge your battery. And then you're back to able to go back again and chat and chat and chat and keep and do it. But it's just because what you can find is if you're going the whole day, what happens is come in evening time, you normally crash and burn because you're exhausted. But if you can try and fit in little 10-minute, 15-minute slots throughout the day, if it's a long day, just to recharge your batteries, you don't actually be as bad in the evening, and you might be able to even go a little bit longer throughout the day.
And I remember when I was teaching, there would be some days where I just wouldn't want to go to the staff room, not because I didn't like the people, but I've had a hectic morning. I've been in a classroom for, 3 hours with 30 odd kids, for the 3 hours. So I want to sit for 15 minutes just in the peace and quiet. But I used to be afraid. I didn't understand myself back then. So I used to be afraid people would think that I was odd because I was sitting up and I wasn't socializing. I wasn't going down to the staff room. I used to put myself under such pressure to try and fit in. And I would love to know, have you ever felt the same? And I've been really honest. And I think it's really important that we do be honest with each other and share this, because that's how you start realizing that that's me. Oh my God, that was me. And I would be a great person for maybe on a Tuesday saying, oh yeah, let's go out on Friday night. Let's do X, Y, and Z. I'm so excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. Come Friday, I'm thinking to myself, how can I get an excuse out of this? And it wasn't that I didn't want to go. It was just that the week had been, so full on. So I just wanted to relax in my own comforts at the weekend. And another thing that I think is so funny. So my dad is a real extrovert, like such an extrovert. He loves being around people. He cannot sit at home. It is his worst nightmare to sit at home. So if you're watching this, Dad, Mum will be definitely laughing and saying this is true. But whenever he used to come into our home at the start, he used to say, it's so quiet in here. Do you never put on a radio? And we were, because we didn't even understand ourselves back then like we do now. And we used to be like, no. But now I know that, no, we never would put on the radio because we love peace and quiet. Like we love the silence. That energizes us. So I'd love to know, as you're watching this, are you the same? Did I make you laugh? Did you think, oh my God, she's such a stranger, she's such a weirdo? Because that is the reality of who we are. But we've embraced our uniqueness now and we use it to our advantage, which is key.
Yeah, and the thing is, what Mary says, once you start to understand your positive, like what is your strengths rather than your weaknesses, because sometimes if you're growing up and maybe you're an introvert and maybe you're surrounded by a lot of people who are extroverts, you're thinking to yourself, why can I not be a bit more like them? Why am I quiet? Why am I not always the life and soul of the party? And then you're always focusing on the negatives. You're always focusing on the things that you wish you had that you're not currently yourself. And that makes you feel more worse in yourself. But if you start to think about, what is my strengths? What have I got that a lot of the other people don't? Because maybe if you're an introvert, you're probably very good at listening to people. You're probably very good at connecting with people on a really deep level. So using your strengths and knowing when you understand that, it makes you feel a lot more confident because you realize this is just the way I am. There's nothing different about me. There's nothing wrong with me. This is just who I am.
So my challenge to you today would be, what is a belief system that you have created over the course of your life? Is it that you really believe that you lack so much confidence that you can't interact in a large group of people? Because believe you me, my husband would have said that a few years ago. He would have 1,000,000% said that he could not interact in a large group of people on a one-to-one, no problem. But now he can command a room of 8,000 people. But it's all starting to understand
it's techniques
you.
And learning.
Yes. And when you understand you and when you start changing those beliefs that you have been, brought up to believe, and you start to understand, why you've thought that all of your life, but you change it to a positive and you think to yourself, well, what do I want to be? How do I want people to see me? What does my perfect day look like? Do I want to be constantly surrounded by people, or am I perfectly happy in my own company? So I would love to challenge you to really think about that. And if you're brave enough, I'd love you to drop me a message and let me know, what are some of the beliefs that you have around your personality. First and foremost, are you an introvert or are you an extrovert, or do you not know? And maybe you're someone who is an introvert but has been pretending most of their life to be extroverted to try and fit in, like I did for a long, long time. And people now sometimes will say, Mary, there's no way you're an introvert. I am 100% an introvert. But when you find something that you're passionate about, I'm so focused on what I do that I could speak to you about it all day, every day, because I'm obsessed with it. But I have no interest in chatting about a lot of general knowledge topics. It just does not interest me. But when you put me in my area of expertise, like my specialized field, then we could talk for hours and hours and hours.
So if you're interested and you're thinking, do you know what, I don't know whether I'm an introvert or I'm an extrovert, reach out, because we've got a really simple quiz. It's only like 20 questions and you figure out, and gives you a good overview if you are an introvert or an extrovert. So if you are wondering, please do reach out and we'll send you the link for the quiz. We found it really, really informative and really, really good way.
So have a great evening. Time to get some dinner in this house. We have a little lady standing beside us. We're on the countdown to her birthday, and we'll catch up with you all soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.
See you later, guys. Bye-bye.